Hey, it's Bridget with Sleepopolis, and today we are talking with our Director of Sleep Health, Dr. Shelby Harris, about women experiencing insomnia. And Dr. Harris, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I always love talking with you.
So let's first start off with why do women experience insomnia more than men?
First of all, I'm so glad we are finally talking about this in our society because women's sleep issues has not been really thought about for a long time, and it's about time we're talking about it. So there are a few different reasons why women tend to suffer more than men. One is that it's biological. So when we think about women throughout the lifespan, there are hormonal changes that happen. And in adolescence, that's when we actually start to see women or younger girls start to have more insomnia than men. Up until adolescence, the rates of sleep problems are actually the same. So that suggests there's a hormonal component. So before a woman has her period, about 4 to 5 days before, some people actually have insomnia because of the hormone drops, especially in like estrogen. So during pregnancy, as many of us know, that's a big time for sleep disruption. There can be hormonal issues, there can be having to urinate a lot at night, heartburn's a big one. And then as you're getting bigger, the baby starts to have to move around a lot more, you're just uncomfortable. And then the final thing we see a lot more during that stage is that there can be vivid dreaming. And some women actually develop sleep apnea very commonly, so that can influence sleep quality as well. And then once the baby comes, you're up a lot at night, whether you are breastfeeding, formula feeding, there's a baby up all the time every few hours, so that can be really disruptive as well. And some women will suffer from postpartum depression or anxiety, which can also influence sleep. And then the next big stage we tend to see is during perimenopause and menopause, when there are big, sharp drops in estrogen and progesterone, and that can also influence insomnia. So that's a big thing. And then there's more anxiety and depression in women, and there's just more demands. So we're working during the day, we're working at night, we're taking care of our kids and families, sometimes older parents, that we're pulled in so many directions, there's not enough time to really decompress for sleep at night. It's a firestorm.
And statistically, how many women are experiencing insomnia?
We typically see at a rate of 5, or 1 in 5 men has insomnia, 1 in 4 women tend to have insomnia. And the rates actually go upwards of about 40% for some women. And during perimenopause, that stage when there's real sharp drops in estrogen and progesterone, as well as hot flashes, night sweats, we tend to see the rates can be upwards of 50% of women.
What are those symptoms looking like?
The symptoms of insomnia are typically trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, and or awakening earlier than you would like to. So it can be a combination or one of those things, but it also has to cause a problem for you in your life. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling mood changes, you're bothered by it, those are all symptoms of insomnia, and it has to go on at least 3 nights a week for at least 1 month to be short term, and 3 months, then it's actually considered chronic insomnia.
At what point should women go see a doctor for this?
So if you find that you're practicing good sleep hygiene overall, we all know the basics, right? You're limiting caffeine, you're limiting alcohol, you're trying to de-stress before bed, you're not exercising too close to bed. If you're doing all those things for a good 2 to 3 weeks and you're making time for enough sleep at night, but it's not enough and you're feeling like you're dragging or you just can't sleep enough at night, that's when you want to talk with your doctor. But if you find that you've been snoring really loud for a while, or even quiet snoring that's causing you to wake up, or you're waking up with a dry mouth, urinating loud at night, those might be signs of sleep apnea. If you're falling out of bed, anything like that, you don't need to wait the 2 to 4 weeks. Go to see your doctor sooner.
And you touched on a few of them, and I'm sure there are also a lot of them, but what are some things women can do to help get better sleep?
There are so many things. So the initial thing I always have people do is just to make sure you start with proper sleep hygiene and making enough time for sleep. So limit caffeine, the alcohol, really trying to stay off of screens within a half hour to an hour before bed. Working on the big thing for women, a lot of times they just have a very busy brain. So maybe working on trying to find time for practicing a little bit of meditation during the day exercise, getting light. Those are all really important things to do. But if that's not enough, then you want to talk with your doctor about possibly doing cognitive behavior therapy for insomnia, which is the first line treatment. So it takes sleep hygiene, but then does a lot more in timing of your sleep and also working on some of the worries. And it's a short-term, very evidence-based treatment. And if that's not working, then it's a discussion of medications, possible hormone replacement with your doctor if you're a candidate for it. There are really good treatments out there, so I really don't want women to just suffer in silence, which many have been doing for so long. The one thing I would add that is if you see a doc who says to you, that's what happens as you get older, you'll get through it, just deal, find a different doc who will listen to you more. There are treatments available.
All right, thank you again so much for joining us, and thank you all as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below, and also head over to sleepopolis.com for more sleep health information.